Okay, so let's talk about a face. We're going to texture a face for the next 2 weeks. But before that, we're going to talk about face UVs and how to get started in Substance Painter with setting up our face. So first of all, this is a face I did, and this is the base mesh apart from those triangles is something I use for most of my male faces. And the UV stays constant in all of my characters. This gives me one more benefit, that if I want to use some of the displacement I have projected on this one, I can use on the other characters as well. It won't be perfect, but if I want to do a quick sculpt and if I want to see it with displacement on, it gives me a pretty fast result. I can just bring in the texture from this guy and use it on another model in just a minute. So for the face UVs, there are different kind of face UVs, but they are limited. So if I exclude cloth, other 3D assets, any other prop and stuff like that, face have a specific kind of UVs that has been working for people, and people have been using it from quite some time. And you can count those number of ways that a face should be UV'd. So since face UV are so specific, I can actually show you guys how to unwrap it from scratch. But right now, to look at it, this is the face UV that I have, and that's how I UV most of my character. Everything has been filled. My face is utilizing the most area on my UVs because that's what the area I mostly focus on. Most of the character get covered by hair, so I don't need much textile density here. And most of the character get covered by shirt, so I don't need much textile density here as well. So to start with, how do we UV a face? Let's just go in, make it UV planar. That's just a face, UV'd everything, nothing is split. First thing that we want to split is a line which goes from the back to the front and is in the center. Let me go in, add these guys. Oh, should not have added those anyway. I'm gonna deselect everything apart from a point in forehead where I feel most of the area would be covered by hairs. So if I go in, split that guy. Oh, so my shortcut does not work when I record through this application. So let me go in and find where the actual thing is. So I'm gonna cut those UV edges, pick in my shell, and if I go to polygon, unfold, it gives me this result. Pretty creepy. So next thing we're gonna do is split in the mouth bag. We're gonna pick the edge in the lips that's least visible. Split it, polygon, cut UV edges. Same for the eyes. So we're gonna split the eye bag. I like to include this curricular part with the skin mesh, so we don't have any seam there. But let's pick in this guy right here, polygon, cut UV edges, select this one, polygon, cut UV edges. Some people split the ears as well from someplace here. I don't like to do that because it creates a seam there again, so let's not do that. If you want to do it, you can just split it and put it somewhere else. So now, since we have those things split, let's move this guy and unfold it again. So this is what most of you guys might have seen the face UVs to look like. You have this weird hourglass kind of look. I don't know what to call it, but this is what you're used to seeing in many cases, and this is what I am used to seeing in many cases. This thing just fit in a 1x1 U set and people call it done. This is valid, it happens, but not something I like. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pick these guys, move it side, take our face, bring it to our main one, and try to scale it up as much as I can while keeping the focus on this area. So now what we're gonna do is pick our edges from this edge to this edge. I'm gonna convert that to UVs. disable these ones, and if I press B, which is soft selection in Maya, you guys want to look up what it is in Max or Blender if you're using that. I'm going to shrink this guy till I get something flat, expand it again because I don't want that much of flatness. I'm going to push it behind my UV set. I think I forgot few, so let me just go in and do it again. So this is our edges, pressing B, making it a tad bit flat, pushing it in, making it more flat, pushing it back, trying to keep it as straight as I can. I'm gonna repeat the same thing for the left side and the bottom side. Alright, so now what we have is pretty weird and pretty badly done UVs. But now we're gonna clean up those borders that we have. So if I go to edges, picking the final mesh, I'm going to move those edges out so I have an indication where those actually are. Before doing anything, I'm going to UVs, picking those edges, and we're just going to make it flat. Going to do the same thing here, make it flat. Going to do the same thing with our bottom. Let's just clean this by hand just a slight bit. Same for these guys, they're fine. Select these ones. Flatten them, push it down. And now we're going to take our borders and make them fit our UV space. So with this one, I might have to push these guys back a bit. Same for these guys. And with this one, push it back again so we have it straight. Select this one, push it back. And now a little bit of more cleanup. So now we got all of our face to use the most of the space in this 1x1 UV set, but we still have messed up our things a lot. We have an easy way. Just select all the edges, convert it to UVs, control, drag it, not control, sorry, shift, drag it. So we have all the inside UV selected. Now I'm going to go to tools. And if I pick the unfold UV tool, I can just unfold those guys internally to get the best result I want. There we go. There we go. Don't want to mess up the face too much. So let's just stick to the ears and parts around here. We have one more, which is optimize. I'm going to do that. Do this, and we have things done. Some of these ones I might want to go with hand and push in these ones, but since they are not going to be seen, as I mentioned, they are covered most of the time. They're not that big of a deal, but if you want to use this face or use this UV for most of your cases, just go in and ideally do most of the things as perfect as you can by hand. So you have a really good UV that you can use over and over again. So let's go in, go to tools, run one more unfold in some of the places. Pick UVs, select our UVs, tools, unfold. Just a slight bit with this weird stretching and artifacts going on. Don't want to change our borders. Alright, so once we have that and most of the things are done, we might actually face some intersection around the pockets. They can be cleaned by hand easily. Last thing I like to do is, right now, the Maya or our 3D application has tried to keep most of the things as the same density. So the same density here is the same density here, not right now. Same density here is the same density here. So this one is gonna have more texture resolution than this one, but this is gonna be our hero position, right? So what I like to do is go to your UVs, pick in the point in a nose, press B for the soft selection, scale it up, and scale my whole face up. It's gonna look weird in your UV and your actual face texture, but it's giving us more resolution for our main part of the face. So let's go in, make it a slight bit big. We're gonna modify our borders, but we can easily go in and clean those guys. Bring in these guys. And we can scale them down because they are going to be covered by teeth and eyeballs. So we don't want much resolution in those ones. Disable this, and we can select our border again. Go for UVs to UV, shift click it, go to tools, unfold, and clean up these guys again. I can go in and clean these parts more if I want, but this is generally how I like to do my UVs for the faces.